weather's supposed to be nice. At first, I thought we were going to get some rain, and that would suck because we're on top of the press box.
I kind of like, I don't know, man. It just feels different going to the games now. So I'm not coaching, you know what I mean? So it's like I can't really stand on the sideline because my knee hurts. You know?
Right. And it's weird to sit in the stands.
And it's weird to sit in the stands. You know what I mean?
Like, even when I go to, like, Marley's, like, Little League games and stuff like that, a lot of times I end up walking on the sidelines because I'm like, I've never sat in the stands and really watched a football game unless it's like a professional game or an LSU game or something like that.
Yeah. Man, I'm about to go live.
All right.
This internet out here, like I've told you many of times, TDS is killing me out here, dude. But, like, I have to have, my phone can't be connected to the internet or it won't work.
So you have to unlog so you have to take off your Wi-Fi through your phone?
Yeah, I can't have the TV on. And, like, if the kids or somebody's home, they have to have their internet turned off. I have to turn off my security system so it don't use any internet. Like, it's a bad deal, dude. But for whatever reason, going live works, man.
All right.
It's kind of early in the day, but like I said, if any of the subscribers get on there,
they can ask questions.
They can ask questions while we're going live. So if you're listening, go to the Facebook page, like and subscribe, and then that way in the future, if you're able to listen live, we can answer any questions y'all may have. Or Vincent will answer some questions. I might refer to Vincent.
I answer them during the games.
Hold on, what's this dude? My son's trying to have some friends over this weekend. I'm like, man.
Uh-oh.
Like, dog, man. Like, we're going to a lawsuit, dog. I mean, cut me some slack now, man. I guess let's jump into it, man.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Hillcrest game?
I mean, kind of what we expected. I mean, they were a little bit better than they were last year. They ended up playing pretty well towards the end of the year, my understanding. But kind of what we expected to a certain degree. The only thing that, I mean, obviously the weather delay was not ideal after already having a 3-hour bus ride down there. And then, I mean, the worst part about it is, I mean, when you play a team like that, you're excited about getting some of those young guys some reps and things like that. But the way the second or third or fourth, however many lightning delays we had, I mean, obviously when you cut the game short and you really don't play any of the second half, I think we played maybe 2 plays or so of the second half. I mean, so you didn't get to see Jay Croft get in there and kind of get some meaningful snaps.
That would have been
yeah, I mean, that's some of those things. I mean, Dalvin could have got some more carries. Gator could have got some carries on the offensive side, and then kind of see some of those young guys on the defensive side of the ball as well. So that's the only thing that you're a little disappointed in, because my understanding, too, we also kind of sat some of those kids out during JV, knowing that they were potentially going to get some playing time in Friday. So we kind of sat some of those kids out in the JV situation. So now they went, a whole week without playing a game, unfortunately. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, the first half, I mean, the starters did a great job taking care of business. First half, I mean, I think the defense had gave up a negative 11 yards.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's about as good as you can possibly get there. I mean, it was good. Caden, I think, was I didn't bring the stats with me, but I think Caden was 6 for 9 for 137 yards. Kind of got a couple touchdowns in. Lucas Young was able to catch his first touchdown, which was good to see. Starting to use his size and ability at tight end. Brody was able to get off the Schneid and get his first touchdown of the year. Last year kind of took him a little while to get that first one in, so it was good to see him get one in the end zone. I mean, Ritson obviously had Ritson, so he had some good carries here and there. Then also had the punt return as well, so he's got 8 touchdowns now in the game and a half, I guess you can call it. Kaysen had the 2 long runs too, which was nice to see. So like I said, got some good things, got some good work in for those starters, but the only thing, like I said, and then you extend the winning streak to 16, which is always cool, but at the end of the day, I mean, you feel bad for those young kids that would have got a chance to play a whole second half, would have got to play a whole half of football. I know it would have probably been a running clock, but you feel bad for those kids that didn't get the opportunity to get out there and play some meaningful snaps on a Friday night underneath the lights and things like that. So, like I said, but at the end of the day, we won. Came out kind of injury-free, which is a big thing too, in some of those non-district games. But it gave some good tape, and a lot of things to work on between with the off week last week and then heading into Newcastle this week.
What do you think about the weather, dog?
The weather was crazy. I mean, it was weird because we had already gone live, so we were kind of laughing about it because we were kind of running out of things to talk about up there prior to the game and whatnot. Then we got a little delusional and delirious there at the end, so we started saying we were owls after dark. But we turned it into, we had some fun with it or whatnot. The weird part about it is, I mean, for everybody that was there and for anybody that was watching, I mean, there was no rain.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're sitting there the whole time, under a weather delay, and I mean, yeah, you could see the lightning and the thunder and things like that out in the distance, but no rain. And then, like I said, once they finally called it there after 2 or 3 plays in the second half, the lady came in the press box and said, "Hey, we're going to call the game. Y'all may want to pack y'all stuff up because in about 15 or 20 minutes." It's going to come down pretty good, and she was right. As soon as we got on the road, that first 45 minutes of the way back was a little dicey, but we were able to make it back safe and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, weather's weather. It is what it is. I mean, like I said, Newcastle originally and earlier in the week, it looked like it was going to be a little rainy and stuff like that. So we had to kind of prepare because Newcastle doesn't have a spot for us in the press box. So we'll be on top of the press box tomorrow night. But now it looks like the weather's going to be fine. Actually pretty nice. I think kind of a little cool front's coming in through. So I think by kickoff it's going to be about 70. So that'll be pretty cool to play in, especially when you're still thinking it's still mid-September. So we haven't really had a hot game yet, which is pretty cool.
No, it's a blessing.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you have those hot games, stuff like that, I mean, you run into issues with cramps and having to get IVs and all that kind of stuff. We haven't had to do that this year. And at this point now, we're almost to the end of September, so we probably won't have to deal with any of that stuff at all this year.
Yeah, Cody talked a little bit about the weather going on, like how it's a blessing to have the charter buses and stuff like that.
Yeah, we weren't on it. We were in the old Chevy. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't ideal, but Dax slept the whole ride home, so he wasn't too concerned about it. So obviously, I was driving okay. Yeah. But about the first 45 minutes, like I said, kind of, and it was worse. And that's the worst part of it because you were kind of going through, downtown Dallas and all that kind of stuff to get back to 287. But and then once we got to 287, I mean, everything was kind of fine from there. So we got back a little bit earlier than the team. We got back probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I think the team got back around 3:30. And then, like I said, they were all there bright and early for the Little League games the next morning and ready to rock and roll. Yeah,
some of the stats, this is we had 14 first downs. They had 0.
Yeah.
Rushing attempts, 17. They had 13. Rushing yards, we had 259. They had negative 21.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a negative 11 yards for the defense. I mean, defense did a great job. They, like I said, some miscommunication as far as they went. A couple times, quarterback went one way, running back went another way, so that helped obviously out. But like I said, we're rotating a lot of defensive linemen in there, so that makes them stay fresh, which is a little bit, like I said, a little bit different. Coach Baker and I talked about it a little bit on the coaches show on Tuesday night at Burrito Miko. This year he's running in a lot of those different defensive linemen. Last year's kind of the rotation was kind of the big 3, and then you had 1 or 2 others that would kind of run in during meaningful times. But now, I mean, we're running 7 or 8 of them during meaningful times. So I mean, that's only going to help. That's going to help get those young kids that haven't played many snaps some more snaps as they move forward in the season, and it'll keep some of those kids fresh too, because a lot of kids we have play both ways. I mean, you know how that goes. So it'll keep them kind of more fresh of going on there. And then, like I said, the rushing side of it, I mean, heck, I mean, Ritson, I think maybe was our 3rd leading rusher. Kaysen probably had the most rushing yards with those 2 runs, and I think Tiny had a couple more yards than Ritson on the ground as well. So it's always a good thing when you can win, 47-0, and your best running back's your 3rd leading rusher. So the offensive line's doing a good job right now as well. But this week's going to be a big test because it'll probably be one of our biggest opponents for the remainder of the year. Talented football team. Obviously lost to Tuttle a couple of weeks ago pretty bad, but then came back and had a shootout with Blanchard. And so we have to be prepared.
What do you think about that game? It was a shootout, man.
It was a shootout.
First, I thought Newcastle was about to run away with it.
Yeah, and then Blanchard did a good job of kind of coming back and kind of making a little bit of a game. It was kind of funny. I was watching the high school huddle with Chris Evans and those guys and Phil and those guys last night and their podcast, and Chris Evans made a comment. This one was 3 for 8 from the 3-point line, because of the way that the score was. But said they can score some points. They're good in offense. They got 2 good running backs. B.J. Palmer did not play against us last year. So, like I said, I think this is going to be a little bit different than last year. Last year we kind of ran away with it. I'd love to run away with it again, obviously, this year. But this year I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I think we do come out with the victory, obviously, but I think this is going to be a tough test for us. And it's a good kind of measuring stick of where we are heading into district play. Like I said, at the end of the day, none of these non-district games don't matter as far as your playoff seeding and stuff. We've talked about that several times. But like I said, you still want to be tested. Mac was a pretty good football team. We handled them pretty good. Hillcrest is what it was. We got, like I said, got some good work in there. But we kind of knew we were going to come away with that one. So right before you head into district play, you want to be playing your best football. So it's good to kind of play a good team that week before you start district play.
Can you talk a little bit more about B.J. Palmer?
Yeah, just a very good running back. He's been there for a while now. And like I said, didn't play against us last year. Kind of held him out leading into their district play. They've got a little bit of a weird schedule. I think Guyman is originally in their district because I think they're in that same district with Mack and McGinnis. So they actually only have 7 district teams, so they only get 6 district games. So they have an extra non-district game. So like I said, last year they were getting ready to start district. We were their last game before district play, and they held BJ out. Like I said, very good running back, been there for a while. Explosive on both sides of the ball. So we're gonna have to do some things to make sure that we tackle him. I don't know 24's name off the top of my head, but he's also a very good running back. They've lost some kids too, but they're big up front. So it's going to give our defensive line a little bit of a test there. And obviously they can score some points. The way that they were able to play against Blanchard. So, and like I said, Tuttle did some things to kind of expose them a little on defense. So hopefully we can get the ground game going and maybe open some things up for Caden and Brody and those guys in the passing game as well.
We have Hillcrest and we have a bye week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's from a coaching standpoint, what do you think what do you think the mentality is coaching? Because you got like a week to play with this to get healthy.
Yeah, you got to not necessarily get healthy because it's still early in the season and you really only played a half. You've only played a game and a half so far. So I would think kind of, and talking to Coach Baker a little on the coaches show, what they kind of did on that week off. Obviously, this week was a regular week because you're back in game week mode and you've got a good opponent against Newcastle. I believe some of the coaches went up to Newcastle a while. I don't know if it was at Newcastle or Blanchard now off the top of my head, but they went up there and watch that game in person. So it's always good to watch a game in person. Yeah. You can see a lot of things on film, don't get me wrong. It's much better to watch it on film when you can go back and things like that. But watching it in person, too, you get the idea of the speed and the size and some of that stuff a little bit better than you can on film. So the coaches were able to get up there and watch those guys. But that week that was off, from my understanding, like I said, Coach Baker wasn't too happy with the tackling in the first game. He said it was a lot better in the Hillcrest game, but that was something that they worked on. A lot of times when you have a bye that early in the week, you're kind of figuring out, you're kind of just fixing those fundamental things. Because when you played week 0, you really only had 2.5 weeks or so to get ready for week 0. Yeah. And then like I said, you turned around and had a long road trip to a 3-hour road trip down to Dallas. So like I said, kind of getting back to those fundamentals, seeing what was the issues in game 1 and 2 and kind of working on those, cleaning up some of that stuff. Coaches always talk about it, how you make the most improvement between week 1 and week 2. But now we got an off week right after week 2. So probably, like I said, what I understand that they kind of did, and going to practice one day last week, they just kind of worked on those fundamentals and made sure that, everybody's still on the same page. We've had a couple penalties so far this year, a little bit more than. And I mean, I haven't seen the stats as far as penalty wise, but it seems like we've had a few more this year early in the season than we did last year. So got to clean some of that stuff up. Had some delay of games early in the MAC game. Part of that was probably getting signals in, but part of that was also Caden being young and not knowing, not young as far as age wise, but young as far as playing wise. Right. Got to have a little bit more of a sense of urgency when we get those checks in and things like that. Yeah, we don't huddle, but we also line up, see where they are, see what's going on, and see, check back to the sideline and see if we want to run a different play. So when we do get that other play in, Caden's got to make sure that he's he's got a little bit of a sense of urgency getting that play in and getting that snap off. So, like I said, just kind of fixing those little things. Haven't seen anything crazy or detrimental at this point. So I don't think it was a situation where, hey, we got to scrap that whole line of plays and start over. But like I said, I would during that off week, you a lot of times working on the fundamentals, and you're more working on yourself, kind of self scout and kind of working on the things that you need to work on. Where in a normal game week, you're working more towards who that opponent is and things like that.
Did you see or hear about the Anadarko for a Chickasha game?
No.
I heard there's a bunch of penalties in that game.
I have not seen it or heard about it. I think Dylan's coming up this week to the Newcastle game, so I would assume he would have been there.
He posted a video about it, and basically it was just the ref throwing flags.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, like I said, I saw he kind of posted a little teaser or whatever. He'll be up there this week. Always good to see him and all his work. But I didn't see anything about it. I know the Little League guys went up to Chickasha Saturday, but I didn't hear anything about the Anadarko Chickasha game yet.
Yeah. Maybe you've been paying attention in college football?
Well, of course. You know me. Anything football is always good. My LSU Tigers are off to a good start, but that Clemson win isn't quite looking quite as good as it did week 1. And then Florida's quarterback liked to throw it to the wrong color jersey in week 3. So we're still not clicking on all cylinders. But, still early in the season. OU looks pretty good so far. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure the Sooner faithful will welcome Jackson Arnold back with open arms Saturday when he takes the field for Auburn.
I think the Tennessee looks pretty good.
Tennessee looks pretty good. Aguilar looks legit in that quarterback spot for Tennessee. That was a great game. Pretty much watched that entire Georgia Tennessee game. You feel bad for Tennessee because
Whose fault was it? Say it. Whose fault was it?
It's always the kicker, man. They're an important part of football, but you just feel bad. You feel bad for the kid because then he goes in overtime and makes the same exact kick.
Yeah.
But it's just when you rely on those kickers, they more often than not, it seems like they let you down, unfortunately. But like I said, there's a lot of them out there that win games, that win a lot of games too. So they look good. Ohio State looks pretty good. Oregon looks pretty good. There's a bunch of teams out there that look good. Texas doesn't look very good right now. Arch does not look like a Manning at the moment, but
through the memes they got all over.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for him. There was too much hype coming in, but he seems to be handling it okay. Way too much hype coming in for a kid that had never started. Well, started 1 or 2 games. I think he started last year against Mississippi State and UL Monroe or one of those guys. Yeah. But I think as the season gets on, he's got all the tools and all the skills and stuff like that. I have not talked to AJ so far this year to kind of figure out Texas's quarterback coach. A.J. Milwee, actually was my backup at North Alabama.
Oh, for real?
And he kind of works with Arch, obviously, pretty closely as a quarterback coach. And I have not talked to him so far this year, a text message here or there. Obviously, during the season, he gets pretty busy, but would love to kind of get his perspective of, watching the film, what it's actually looking like compared to the outside noise in the media saying he's, a bust and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a great football season. I mean, obviously, with the way the playoffs are now set up with that many teams, I mean, it gives a lot more teams an opportunity. So I mean, college football is college football. I mean, it's a ton of fun to watch, and like I said, the SEC and the Big Ten kind of run the show these days. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how it all plays out in the next couple of weeks. We'll know more probably in 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, Ohio State's playing Penn State soon, so we'll kind of figure out who's the better out of that group. I think Oregon plays one of those guys soon. LSU plays Ole Miss coming up. Texas A&M's got a bunch of good games coming up as well. I mean, everybody wrote Alabama off after the Florida State game, but they've looked pretty good the last 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how the SEC shakes out and how the Big Ten shake out. Because at the end of the day, those 2 conferences will probably have 3 or 4 teams each in the playoffs.
Did I see Florida State dropped out of the top 25?
No. I don't think so. I mean, they obviously took care of business pretty easily against Alabama. I haven't really kept up what they did after that, but I think they've won those other 2 games. I mean, Georgia Tech's looking pretty decent with the win over Clemson and things like that. So it's always an interesting time of the year. Like I said, I mean, I hate preseason rankings because they really don't matter and they really don't do anything. So now, like I said, after about 3 games, you're kind of starting to figure out kind of who people are. But here, like I said, here in about 3 or 4 weeks, once you kind of get into some meaningful conference play, we'll kind of figure out, cream will always rise to the top. I'm looking forward to that one on Thanksgiving weekend, though. LSU, Oklahoma. we got a large contingent of Cajuns coming up for that one. So,
really?
Yeah, we're gonna have an Oklahoma Thanksgiving tailgate up in Norman.
It's gonna be a good time then.
Oh yeah. We get kind of rowdy, loud, and proud with our purple and gold.
Before I forget, man, let's go back and talk about the players of the game.
Yeah.
Offense, Brody Morrison.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, had the 2 screens and did a pretty good job there. Like I said, I mean, just an all-around great kid, great athlete. Like I said, I mean, a lot of times gets overshined by Ritson to a certain degree, but I mean, when you look at it, I mean, he's just as good, if not a better overall athlete. So look forward to kind of watching him progress as the season goes on. Senior year, I mean, 4-year starter back there at safety, kind of coming to his own as a receiver now. I mean, kind of unfortunate. We talked a little bit about it last year with Colin, kind of one of those kids that would do great at a college program, but just isn't getting the type of looks that you would think that he should. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks he can kind of put together some big games, maybe get on a few more teams' radar. Because like I said, I mean, he's got all the ability and talent, but he's also a great kid too. So he'd be an asset to any college program, especially in the state schools. But like I said, I mean, just a great kid, and a great football player, and well deserving of that offensive award.
Defense, Philip Peterson.
Yeah, Phillips. I mean, obviously, one of the leaders on the defense, doing a great job of that outside linebacker spot. Had the big block, punt block against Mac. But in this game, I mean, like I said, just comes off the edge. I mean, smart football player. Not the fastest, not the most athletic kid, but he's always in the right spot. Pretty solid tackler. doesn't let a lot of people get around him and things like that. And like I said, really coming into his own this year, kind of taking on a little bit more of a leadership role. So looking forward to seeing what he can do in the next couple of weeks. Had him on the coaching show this week. One of our first kids that actually gave a subject for his favorite school for his favorite class in school, and we said math, so at least he's putting the student athlete part of it. I think Cam came up with lunch. I think Bryce said none of them. But yeah, just a good kid, and like I said, a very good football player, and again, another well-deserved award.
Special teams, Richard Myers.
Yeah, I mean, every week you can kind of name him player of the week, whether it be offense, defense, or special teams. So it's good to see him back there catching punts. And it was, like I said, good to see him. He's our all-time leading touchdown maker in Elgin high school history, but that was his first punt return. He's thrown some, he's run some, he's caught some. He's entered pick six against El Reno a couple years ago. But it was his first punt return, kick return type touchdown. So it was good to see that. And I mean, we talk about him every week. We talked about him for the last 4 years. I mean, just phenomenal football player, phenomenal athlete, and wherever he decides to go, whether it be football or baseball route, a college and or professional baseball, whatever, is getting a good kid. And the one thing that I really like about the way he's going about business this year, I mean, he understands this is his senior year, and he's taking on a much more of a leadership role. When you see him at practice, you know, he's kind of getting on guys. You know, it's not the standard we live up to. You know, he likes to joke and play and all that kind of stuff. We all know Rich's personality, but like I said, the one thing that I really am impressed with this year is his understanding of, you know, this is it for me when it comes to putting on the Elgin Owl uniform. I think he'll put on uniforms for a long time to come, but like I said, not that it wasn't serious before, but you can just see in his eyes and in the way that he carries himself a little bit differently. Like I said, I mean, he's come a long way since his freshman year, and looking forward to seeing how much further he can go. And like I said, just a really great kid and fun kid to be around.
Sharpen your axe, Caleb Adesola.
Yeah, I mean, great. You know, I mean, didn't know exactly how much and what he was going to play this year, but has really stepped in and now has become a starter on the defensive line, and done a really, really good job there. Also, you know, playing tight end as well. Had a catch during the first half of the game, so he had the catch from the tight end spot, and then, like I said, defensive. He's really grown into his body. I heard Cody talking a little bit about it yesterday on the podcast. You know, he was kind of a little awkward and, you know, the last couple years, but he's kind of, you know, matured and grown into his body and his height and his weight and things like that. And I mean, one thing about an Adesola, I mean, they've always got a motor. They're always going to be in the right spot. They're always going to, you know, and they're just great kids. So really happy for him. And I mean, only a sophomore. So the you know, the sky's the limit for him. And there's multiple people that have told him, you know, you might be the best Adesola before the end of time. Oh. And so I mean, Josh used to always say that we would always talk about Mike when he was talking. So now we're going to talk about Josh and Mike to Caleb all the time. So it's just kind of full circle. But yeah, both his brothers up there at SWASU, my understanding, still playing. And like I said, I mean, couldn't be happier for a kid because, like I said, they're just such good kids on top of being good football players. So I mean, he epitomizes that Sharpen Your Axe award with the way that he goes about his business and all that kind of stuff.
Rough Rider, CJ Devine.
Yeah, happy for CJ. I mean, we talked about it kind of on the preseason, you know, podcast with you. I mean, happy for him. You know, kind of battled some injuries the last couple of years. You know, as a sophomore, was kind of in line to start. And then HUD had to step in and play as a freshman, but kind of was in line to start, and just, you know, had kind of the last couple years have faced some injuries that have kind of put him behind the eight ball. So glad to see him in his senior year able to get on the field, and then on top of that, playing the way that he's played the last couple of weeks. I mean, it's been good to see. I mean, he's definitely got the size, 6'3", 6'4", give or take. I mean, he's one of those ones you want to get off the bus first. And then, like I said, once he puts those pads on, I mean, he's a head taller than a lot of our linemen, and like I said, playing really well. And like I said, I think he'll get better as the season goes, barring he stays healthy, because he really hasn't had that much playing time up until this year. So the more you play as an offensive lineman, I mean, yeah, you get beat up a little, but the more you get settled in and things like that. So looking forward to seeing how he looks, week 7, 8, 9, heading up hopefully into that playoff run.
What are some of the other big games in 5A this week?
In 5A, I don't really know. I didn't really check out the schedule this week. It's been a crazy week. I know it's the last week of non-district play.
Right.
So you've got some of those. You'll probably run into some of those inner city rivalries somewhere. But didn't really check out the schedule other than us, because obviously I know the high school huddle guys and them have picked their top 10 games. I know we were one of those top 10 games of the week here. So, I mean, I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Speaking of inner city, do you see Mac? After us, they've been doing really good.
Yeah, I mean, Mac. I mean, they kind of had a stretch after us. Looking at their schedule a little bit after us, they had about six weeks or so. Yeah, they had Eisenhower, Lawton High tonight. I think tomorrow night they might have maybe Putnam City's coming into town, or maybe somebody like that. Again, they only have. Guyman was in that district, but Guyman, I don't know what the deal was there. They decided to play independent or something. So they are not. So they've only got 7 teams in their district.
Yeah.
So they get 4 non-district games. So after our game, they had about a 6-game stretch where they were probably going to be favored in most of those games. But for them, I mean, it always comes down to Newcastle and Bishop McGuinness in their district to figure out kind of how that top 3 lays out. Bishop McGuinness is on a roll right now. They got some, they've won a couple close games in the last couple of weeks. And like I said, Duncan's a little bit improved in that district as well. But I think Mac will get in the playoffs one way or the other. They'll finish in the top 4 of that district in 5A, and I mean, when you have the type of athletes that they have, and I mean, like I said, you got a couple D1 signing commitments and things like that. I mean, good things can happen for you. But yeah, they've been playing a lot better the last couple weeks. They ended up being city champs again. I think it's the 3rd or 4th time in a row. I guess we can maybe call ourselves county champs if we want to, but like I said, I mean, Mac was a good football team, and like I said, we were able to take care of business there. But it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, they've got a pretty good stretch right now where they should win some games and kind of get some confidence leading into those big games against Bishop McGuinness and Newcastle. Yeah, because Midwest City's down a little. New coach, lost some players and things. So I would think Midwest City and Duncan will kind of fight for that 4th spot. There's only 7 teams in that district, so you got to just finish in the top 4. So I think Mac will get in the playoffs at the end of the day. I know they obviously want to finish 1st or 2nd to get that game at Cameron Stadium. They'll get to play 2 home games at their actual. At Mac actually this year. They're playing homecoming and senior night. Talking to Coach Manning, they're playing homecoming and senior night there at on the campus of MacArthur. So that'll be cool for those kids too.
Why do they use the stadium, Cameron Stadium?
Well, I mean, forever. I mean, those stadiums weren't equipped enough to hold everybody. I mean, my understanding is they still only hold about 2,500 people. So I mean, they just put it. Yeah, they just put in a press box. They just moved in some temporary kind of stands at all 3 Lawton schools. So they're not getting away from Cameron at this part. They'll play all the city games when Mac plays Eisenhower, Lawton, Eisenhower. All those games will still be at Cameron. I'm not sure if McGinnis or Newcastle come, but I know those bigger games are still going to be at Cameron Stadium for those guys. But there's 2 games. They play some inner city Oklahoma City schools that don't travel very well, right. So they're going to allow them to get down there. They just put in those. They put new turf in the field turf stuff in all 3 schools. There was a bond that was passed in Lawton, and they were able to get that done there. So, like I said, I mean, I know all Lawton schools are playing at least 1. I think Mac might be the only one that's playing 2, but Eisenhower will get to play 1 this year. At their stadium, and then so will Lawton High. So that's cool. I mean, like I said, especially since they've never done it before, that's a cool deal. Because, but I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens with Cameron and all that stuff moving forward.
Amen, brother. Well, man, we're about 35 minutes into it. Final words?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Newcastle this week, obviously last non-district test for us before we head into district. Got Woodward next week. Finally get back to the nest. When you look at it, we played.
Woodward's not a fun drive.
No, Woodward's not a fun drive. So luckily we get to play at home. But it was what August 29th was the last time we played, and it'll be September 27th. So it's almost been a month since we've been at the nest. From here on out, once we get to Woodward, it'll be home away the rest of the way. But like I said, got a big one against Newcastle. Newcastle's a very, very good team. Probably the most talented team we will play for the rest of the season until we get hopefully into a playoff push. So it'll be interesting to see where we are. It's a great test right before district. Defense has got to tackle very well. Haven't talked to Coach Wyatt yet about the keys to the game. We'll talk to him about that tonight or tomorrow. So not 100% sure where he's thinking about keys to the game, but kind of knowing a little bit about Newcastle. Obviously got to stop B.J. Palmer and stop number 24. You got to tackle real well, and then got to get some penetration and kind of create it and get by their big offensive linemen. And then on the offensive side of the ball, continue to run the ball to maybe open up some of those big plays deep, and then cut down on some of the pre-snap penalties is probably where we need to work on the most. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's always kind of an old rival to a certain degree. We were in the district with them a couple of years ago. We have had some good games against them in the past. Coach Brickman does a great job up there. That's an OSN school, so we kind of know a little bit about those guys and kind of met some of those kids over the years, coming down for the banquets and things like that. And have interviewed Coach Brickman a couple different times. Great guy, great coach, runs a great program. I know Coach Wyatt has a ton of respect for him in the program. So that'll be, that trickles down to the players as well. So looking forward to it. Like I said, having the week off last week, once you kind of get rolling in the football season, it's kind of weird to have a week off. So it's good to kind of get back to the grind, and hopefully everybody can make it on up there. I know we travel super well, and it's only a 50-minute drive or so. So I know I know a bunch of people will be up there, and if not, obviously we'll go live at 6:30 on OSN, and you can catch all the games at 7. And then, like I said, after the game is over, it's about an hour later after the game is over and we stop broadcasting after the post-game show and things like that. An hour later, it will be logged on to the Elgin channel of the Oklahoma Sports Network. You can go back and watch all the fun action as well. So looking forward to it, and ready to get back on the field and see. Like I said, we still learning about this team. That's the weird thing that like I said, that MAC game seems so far away. It almost seems like it was last year at this point. It's kind of a weird deal and then the Hillcrest deal, you only played one half, so it doesn't even really feel like we've gotten to know and understand what this team is made of and who's going to be. We kind of know who our playmakers are to a certain degree, but there's still going to be 2 or 3 people that are going to come off the radar as this season progresses. So looking forward to seeing who those guys are going to be. But at the end of the day, it's the one that I think we should take care of and handle. And like I said, I don't think we'll be I think we'll be favored if there was Vegas odds or whatever. I think we'll be favored all the way through the rest of the season, depending on how those play, and then we'll roll into playoffs and see how that goes. But looking forward to this one and ready to see the Owls again. As always, go Owls! Woo!
Amen, brother.